Yo, what's up, everybody? Let's get right into it. Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Empire. We like to engage with everybody from pastors to actors, rappers to trappers, and everybody in between. And guess what? We have another great guest for today. But before we get into our guest, ladies and gentlemen, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. We're working on growing it, all those things. Share this information, blah, 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 blah. We like to have interesting interviews with interesting people throughout the inland community, throughout the world, throughout our society. And we have another great guest. If you guys didn't know, my name is Antonio Lee Miles. I'm your host. And today we have an amazing guest. Like I said, she's a lovely woman and founder of an organization called Offthechainalliance, which deals with, they call in the thing, it's like a wraparound nature for the community. And we'll let her explain a lot more about what her organization is and everything like that. And we would like to thank Miss Porscha and Dillard to the Empire. Welcome, Porscha.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. How you been?
I've been doing well. Been preparing.
Oh, you're kind of breaking up on us here.
I'm listening to make things happening.
Oh, yeah, it's breaking up a little bit. No, I don't think you can hear. It's doing it to us. Why? Yeah, it is breaking up.
Fine.
Yeah, it's still doing it. Yeah, it's breaking up. I think we might have to do a little switcheroo. Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. Technical issues, it happens. Yeah, no problem. We'll be here. That's, it happens, to the best of us. It's just kind of how it works. And, but, it is what it is. It's kind of how things happen, you know what I mean? And, but, we're so glad to have her. Sometimes, technology, you never know what you're going to get, Life's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Technology will do its thing. It'll listen. It won't listen. It just is what it is. And we just have to adapt and adjust. And I think that's the best part about life, and about the best part about anything is being able to be multifaceted, being able to adapt. But luckily, we got her right back.
This is the best I can do. Hopefully this works.
Hey, we can hear you. We can hear you. So I think that's all that matters. Can you hear us?
I hear you perfectly.
Oh, yeah, we got you. We're good. So we're going to keep moving forward. And Porcha, again, I want to thank you so much for being on The Empire. How has your day been?
My day has been going well. I just been preparing for this interview and preparing my board members for a couple other Zoom calls that Offthechainalliance needed to be a part of. So just business.
Got you. You're preparing for the interview? You ready to spar or what?
I'm ready to spar.
Got you. How are you preparing for today's interview?
I just made sure that my skin was glossy, my lips are nice and red, and that, I was sharp with my responses.
Okay. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
I wouldn't know.
I think you've been prepared. I think you got prepared.
Right. No tongue tie, no tongue twisters. Correct.
No. What was another one? Oh, Sally sells seashells by the seashore. Something like that.
I suppose. I bet you know more than I would. I don't know. I just do the la 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 la.
Were you in acting? Did you do acting as a young?
No, it's just I just like to be heard, and I like to enunciate, and sometimes you have like a lazy tongue, and I just like to wake the tongue up.
Got you. I don't know why I went sexual with that in my mind, but I did. I did. I was like, okay, gotta wake that tongue up. Wake it up, girl. Wake it up. Good morning,
Gosh,
tongue. Good morning.
Antonio.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Portia, for people who may not know who you are and the things that you do, can you please tell us all who you are and the things that you do?
Oh, well, hello, world. Hello, everyone. My name is Porscha Dillard. I am a founder and a CEO of a nonprofit. It's essentially a bereavement nonprofit where I assist disenfranchised minority families in the Inland Empire with wraparound services for grief and funeral poverty. So, with funeral poverty, if people don't know what funeral poverty is, it's the inability for income families to afford their funeral without it destroying them financially, essentially. So we help with that. We give them money towards their funeral because we understand that's very difficult. And we also do wraparound services for grief, which is grief counseling, grief groups, listening ears, transformational therapists, and doing workshops, teaching and training them about the different life insurances such as term, whole, index, because life insurance policies and life insurance plans can be very, very confusing. And I just like for people to be educated.
Ooh, I love that. I think being educated on these things and these matters are very good. If you guys can hear us and see us in the chat, give us a thumbs up in the chat. Give us a 1 in the chat. Let us know what's going on. That's so cool.
Thank you.
I think it's crazy because a lot of people may not know that this exists, and so I'm glad to have you on so that way people who know this exists can kind of get some insight and some help, right? And is this do you have to like qualify to become like a participant for the Off the Chain Alliance work?
So, well, majority of everybody is poor, disenfranchised. So you have to be a disenfranchised minority family within the Inland Empire. And I've been getting a lot of people off of Facebook, Instagram, and then people would message me and let me know someone passed away, a young man was murdered, a young lady died in a car, a hard time, the family needs help, stuff like that. And when I get that message, I ask them for the direct person. So what I don't do is I'm not going to give the person the money or anything that message me if it's not their family. So I like to go directly to who I need to speak with, and I let them know who I am, what I do, and what I can offer, and if they want to accept my offer. And if they do, we prepare. Okay, we have 3 programs. So we have funeral poverty program, which is when we give them up to $200. I can't wait until we're able to at least give them $1,000. If we can just do the cremation for them, I would love that. That's where I'm working my way. That's where I'm working Off the Chain Alliance's way up to, so we can at least fund a cremation. We also have our condolences program. That's where we create empathy baskets. We put big box of Kleenex, lavender candle, chamomile tea, coffee mug, teddy bear, flower, just something to let the people know, like, our condolences. We're giving you our condolences because death is definitely hard, but the grief is what really, really destroys you. And then we have end of life preparation program. That's when we do workshops, educate them on the different life insurances, where we do the grief groups or connect them with grief counselors, anything of that nature that'll help them realize that you have to turn your pain into your purpose. A lot of people give up once someone passes away, and a lot of time it'd be like the person who was the breadwinner, who took care of all the bills and stuff like that, or someone who lost their child and that's their only child. Some people really, really give up, and I just want people to realize that you're still purposeful even though someone passes away and you're grieving.
Wow, I love that. And I guess, can you give us a couple of stories about, some people that you helped change their pain into purpose?
I would say me would be the greatest primest example. My brother in 1998, he had asthma and he was leaving from home. We were in Van Nuys at my oldest nephew's 5th birthday party. And my brother, inhaler dropped out his pocket before he left the house. He didn't realize it. While he was walking, he began to have an asthma attack. He passed out, his lungs collapsed. He died in somebody's driveway, and they found him like an hour later in their driveway dead.
Wow.
So we get back into town. Me and my mother and I, we were all living in Loma Linda at that time. We get back home. I say about 45 minutes later, we get a knock on the door. It's two detectives. And they pretty much lied to us because they didn't have the heart to tell us that my brother was dead, which I kind of resent because it would have just fully prepared us.
Yeah. What did
But
they say?
they said that my brother was in a car accident and that we needed to go to the hospital to go see him when he was really dead. And so we lived by the Loma Linda Hospital. We lived in the hills, so we lived right by Loma Linda University. And my mom and I, we were walking over there. And I don't like to panic. I'm a person, I have to see it sometimes to believe it, or even if it is true, I don't really overreact like how most people would overreact. My mom, on the other hand, she was just so driving me crazy because I just didn't want to believe it. I just needed to see it. So we get to the hospital, we tell them who we were, and they put us in this little small room. And it was just driving me crazy. So anyhow, I sit down in a chair where the chair is facing the door. My mom is pacing, and I'm trying to tell her to relax. But the room filled up with about 12 doctors. And it was at that point I knew something wasn't right. And one doctor stepped up, and you could just hear the pain. His mom hit my mom that her only son was dead. But he had to tell her that they kept trying to revive my brother, but he was already dead once the guy found him in the driveway. And my mom went ballistic. They had her on suicide watch. They were just so afraid for her. And then I had to go identify him because my mom she's too out of it. And again, I had to be the composed one because now it's like, this is what it is. He's dead. So we got to do something. And the doctor asked me to walk back there to go identify my brother. I guess what really, really settled me was that when I pulled the black, the bag back, he had a smile on his face. And when we were young, because my brother was 2 years older than me, and he was born with asthma and bronchitis. He was born with this. So he's been sick. He really couldn't breathe since he's been a embryo.
Gotcha.
And
Severe.
he used to say to me, sister, by the time I turn 20, if my lungs don't get better, I'm not going to have a long life. So the year that he was turning 20, January 3rd, 1998, was the year that he died. So he already told me he wasn't going to live a long life.
Gotcha. He already kind of knew.
Because it was just he had bronchitis and asthma mixed together. And, he hated that he couldn't do sports. He had to take medicine. He couldn't, hang out. He couldn't play too hard, because he would end up having to go to the hospital.
Yeah. So how did that turn into your purpose? How did this event?
Because it helped me create Offthechainalliance. Because moving forward, I didn't create Offthechainalliance until 2017, but in between that time, seeing people walking on the street asking for money towards a family member's funeral, just looking at GoFundMe, just having to help other people, I just realized that, we didn't give my brother his dignity, because once my brother passed away and we had a viewing for him at this wonderful funeral home in Southgate, we only had a certain amount of money to give them that they allowed us to pay them, and they allowed us to have my brother's viewing. So we were able to say our goodbyes to my brother, but my father didn't pay the $900 balance off to the funeral home, so my mother never got her son's urn or his death certificate at that time. I got his death certificate 20 years later in 2018. So, wow. It saddened me that we didn't get to give my brother no dignity. And now Offthechainalliance is my way of paying it forward and giving him some dignity, and also helping families in the similar situation as ours. So it became our purpose to give my brother his dignity and to help other families have their funerals without any issues.
Gotcha. And when did you start Offthechainalliance?
In 2017.
In 2017?
Yes.
Almost 20 years after. Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Because, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was, because, you know, the grief. That's why I
Mhm.
say the grief is what got me. And the grief is what pained me. And it made me look in and tap into my purpose, because I became a teen mom. The very next year, 18 years old, I gave birth to a daughter. You know, I was recklessly connecting with people to fill that emotional void of really not knowing that I was going through the stages of grief. Because, I mean, he's my only brother. I have one older sister left. I've only had that one brother. So I spiraled. I did. I spiraled. And
Gotcha.
um, I
So a
made a
year
lot
after
of
his
horrible
death,
decisions. Huh?
sorry. So a year after his death, you became a teen mom?
Yes, I gave birth to my daughter August 26, 1999.
Okay.
And, you know, I was trying to connect emotionally with anybody that would accept me for where I was at. I was extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was an emotional wreck. It was an emotional wreck. But I had to tap into that. This had to be for some reason. Nothing is not for a reason. And I had to focus in and just be honest and figure it out. And that's what I did. And I was like, I want to pay it forward to families in similar situations. I think that was the best idea.
Gotcha.
um yeah.
It was probably like a light bulb that probably struck in your mind. Like, okay, I know other people are going through this. Let me see if I can help them grieve better.
Right.
Right? How'd you come up with the name Off the Chain Alliance?
That's funny you asked me that, because honestly, when I first began on this, I want to start a nonprofit. I just couldn't figure out the name for anything. And then one day I was speaking with rest in peace. Her name was Gwenda Simpson. She was telling me, like, you know, just relax and clear your mind and it'll come to you. It'll come to you. And then one day I was just like, I connected off the chain with freedom. So I was like, okay, so if this is a way that I can provide low income, disenfranchised minority families some type of freedom, then that's that. So I just stuck with Off the Chain Alliance, because when you think about it, you're chained. And then when you're off of a chain, you have no more, you're no longer tied to anything. And I just wanted to just be that freedom for the impoverished families when it comes to funeral poverty. So um, it's just freedom to me.
I like that. I like that. Getting the shackles off everybody so that way they can live their best life and be free and see the opportunities that are there for them. You know,
Yes.
I know we kind of mentioned a little bit about, you know, the services that you guys provide, right? And how do you guys decide and come up with the ideas and the concept for what type of services to provide for people?
Well, just the what matters. People need help with cremating or burying their loved one.
Hmm.
The empathy basket was just a way of just saying our condolences. You know, you're going to get and hear it a lot, but it's just us letting them know that there are people out here that understand and have been through what you've been through, and you will be okay. But this is our way of telling you, you know, we do see you, and we do hope and pray that you be okay and that you're going to get through it. And keep your head up. And then the end of life services, the grief groups are very imperative, are very important, because you realize that you're not alone, and you have other people who understand exactly where you're coming from. Because some people can grieve just for a year, some people grieve for just a couple of months, some people grieve forever. You know, there's no timeline on grief, and people need to know that there's other people out there that really will understand that. Because some people, like one woman I met who had her only son, he had died 20 some odd years ago, and she still had the same amount of sadness that she had when he first passed away. You know,
Hmm.
it's just some people don't know how to let things go and don't know how to grow past and beyond where they're at.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get a story of a person who went through a lot but persevered. It motivates you to know that you can get through it and continue on.
Gotcha. And everyone's, like you said, everyone's stage of grief is different. And what I've learned is that, especially through any type of hardship, and I think the gift baskets and these efforts to have a safe space for a lot of people, is that people feel heard and loved. And I know that helps a lot with grieving, is feeling like I have a place to go. I have people who actually care about me and care about my situation. And I know that helps a lot with the thing. You know what I mean? So thank you for doing this work, actually, by the way.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's not done in vain, as they say. You know,
it's not.
It's appreciated. You know, and one of the programs that I thought was really cool that I saw, which was the I believe it was the support group for grief. I thought that was really important because I think we kind of mentioned it, that people can sit down with other people and talk about it together, right? I'm assuming that's kind of what the support group is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually one of the big things, so people can actually like build a community on an unfortunate situation, but be able to help and heal each other through this. You know, has this always been a part of the program, or is it something new? Or talk to me.
Initially, when I first began Offthechainalliance, it was strictly empathy baskets. Okay. Then when I started getting more traction, more people understanding where I was coming from, the donations kicked in. And then a lot of the time I funded it. A lot of the times it was just out-of-pocket expenses where I would just take my money and then give it to the family. So then we incorporated the funeral poverty program. And then the last is the end of life preparations program. And then the last was the grief group. The grief group was the last idea.
Can you explain what the end of life program is?
The end of life is where we have the grief counseling or the grief groups, and we have the workshops, which educate the families on the different types of life insurance. I even want to teach them about probate and wills, holographic wills, anything that prepares them for end of life.
Gotcha. So that's kind of one of the future things you want to do, is educate more on life insurance and probate for insurance. Is that what you're saying?
I want to have them understand that if they have a will, this is what probate is about. Why sometimes maybe it'd be better if you make sure all of your final expenses and anything that your loved one is leaving to you, that you are prepared for it, and you would know how to either fight for it or where to go, how to appeal for it, because sometimes families fight over material things.
Oh yeah.
So it's just all about preparing for that, but for the most part, disenfranchised minority families don't have to really worry about stuff like that. But I don't want, just because a lot of us don't have that type of money or that type of thought process, where some of us are that prepared, at least it can prepare like the future generations, so they don't have to go through the same thing that our current generations are going through when it comes to loved ones passing away and then fighting over property.
Yeah, and estate. How important do you think it is to establish a will and to get life insurance? How important do you think those things are?
I think it's extremely important, because when I'm learning about life insurance, it's really for the living. Like, if you have the right type of life insurance, it can really provide a lot of help for you while you're living. And I do believe it does assist with helping create generational wealth, especially if you get the right type of policy and you know exactly what to do with it, and then you know who to transfer that policy to. I think it's really important that people are at least knowledgeable about life insurance. I know, like I said, sometimes it's very difficult to understand the difference, and you hear the whole is better, term is better, index is better, but it's just as long as you are educated on all of them, and then you can pick which one and that help that grow and leave that for your children or something, But I do think life insurance is extremely important, at least to educate yourself on.
Yeah, and to have, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but some people, again, can't afford it. And that's where I'm trying to figure out some type of program where families can be sponsored or something by particular people, donors, corporations or something, and where they can sponsor a family for maybe like up to a year to let the family get on their feet to be able to pay for it, and then like the family be able to take over it and pay for it. But I do want the families to get fully prepared. I don't want to have to keep on servicing the same families over and over because of the fact that it's issue with funeral poverty. A lot of people just can't afford dying. I say it's hard for disenfranchised minority families to live, and it's even harder for them to die. And I think that's what's sad.
Ooh, that's a line right there. It's even harder for them to die. Ooh, that's intense. Would you say at least making a will would be, if they couldn't get life insurance right now, would you think that a will would be the next best thing to get for them?
Correct. Correct. And it's wills where you have like a lawyer draw it up and you have witnesses. And then there's a holographic will, which California will will accept. It's when the actual person writes it out in their own handwriting and breaking down how they want to disperse whatever materials, items, whatever's in their estate, whatever, and they sign it. And that's a holographic will. So if you can't afford for a lawyer to draw one up for you, you can also create your own. Now it says it doesn't need to be notarized or anything like that, but I would just take extra steps, just in case. Just in case, yeah. Gotcha. But yes, wills are important.
Got you. That's probably the next best step if you can't afford the life insurance, right?
Correct.
I like that. I guess there's two questions and it's going to go in two different directions. And so what are some programs or things that you would like to offer that's in your mind? I know some of the life insurance stuff we talked about, but what's one or two things that you would like to add to the organization to make it better for the community?
So a lot of the times with the funding, okay, so we've been doing great because one of my board members donates a substantial amount monthly, and we've been getting a lot of donations and different, are they called NPOs, where you can fundraise through the system, through the service, and they'll give you whatever people are donating to you. Okay. But where I'm at is, honest to God, in Joshua Tree, they have a natural burial cemetery. Okay. And with the natural burial cemeteries are different from regular cemeteries because you don't embalm the body. And you don't bury the body in a casket. You can wrap it with an organic leaf or a sheet. And you don't have to dig 6 feet. You can just bury the body 3 feet. So it's more of a natural way for you to be sent off. And you will literally recycle. So current cemeteries, you just decompose, right? But natural burial cemeteries, you recycle back into the earth. I would love to be able to have access to a nice amount of land. So instead of me giving the families like $200 for a funeral service or whatever, I would like to offer them a plot instead.
Gotcha.
In our cemetery.
In Joshua Tree.
No, I want to create my own natural burial cemetery. But I was saying in Joshua Tree, that's where I saw that they have a natural burial cemetery out there. So I would like to replicate something closer within the Inland Empire and be able to offer plots, for the families, just in case they're having a hard time with burying. And I know a lot of people are not into unorthodox things, but I was told like this is essentially how Muslims bury because it's just real natural. Yeah, I just really would just like to eliminate hardships for the disenfranchised minority families when it comes to funeral poverty. And that's the only thing that I can really think of that would be is that if Offthechainalliance could get some land, and then we can create our own natural burial cemetery and then give the families an additional option. If they don't want to come to us, which is fine, we can be able to give them a little bit towards wherever they want to go. But initially, I want us Offthechainalliance to have a couple natural burial cemeteries within the Inland Empire.
That'll be really cool and really hip. Hopefully someone will hear about this, and you never know who can hear, right? Right. Now that it's out there, more people can probably know, right?
Right.
If we keep it in, no one knows.
Right. No one knows.
So it's out in the universe now. So
and thank you for letting me put it out in the universe.
Hey, I'm just I'm the coach. Come on, Portia, swing that batch. So yeah, that'd be really great to see and natural. So, and I think a lot of people nowadays are really into like the natural, organic type of lifestyle. So I think it might be really big. It might be really nice, and I look forward to seeing that. Super cool.
Thank you.
And you're open to anywhere in the Inland Empire, right? As long as it's Inland Empire.
Yeah, it's just the Inland Empire. I mean, of course, I wouldn't want it in the Mojave Basin or anything like that, because I know that's part of the Inland Empire. It's too hot. But yeah, I would like a couple just for somewhere within Riverside County, somewhere within San Bernardino County, and just place them strategically and be an additional option for people to bury their loved one.
I love that. That's super cool. Wow, that's so cool. Like we mentioned before, your Off the Chain Alliance does a lot of different type of things, right? And I noticed recently you guys have something coming up, or you talking about the active shooter training. Can you talk to us a little bit about why this, why is it important, and why Off the Chain Alliance decided to do this?
Okay, so this will be our first after shooter training and our third firearm awareness workshop. The thing is I see how crazy it's been with people shooting up grocery stores, schools, university, churches. And the thing is that it's not going to get any better. We have to just be honest about that. And guns are going to still be around whether we want them or not. But preparing for an actual event like that, a lot of people wouldn't know what to do. And it back to educating. Offthechainalliance likes to educate, and creating these fundraisers and giving people opportunity to attend these fundraisers to be educated and to learn what to do just in case you're in an active shooter situation. And it's not too far-fetched now. See, before maybe 10 years ago, but now it's not too far-fetched. People snap at any given moment, and I want people to be prepared, because with death comes grief. And I'm trying to help people be prepared so they can protect themselves, but also understand, these type of situations, people pass away, and that's what comes with the grief. That's where grief comes in, and that's how some people self-destruct. So again, it's just educating people on these situations and what to do if you were ever in this situation, because it's not far-fetched for you to be in this situation.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things that you guys will be educating people on about this active shooter training? What's some of the things that you'll be educating people on?
So if someone gets shot, the instructor name, her name is Jasmine Burke. So if someone gets shot, it's called Stop the Bleed. So she's going to teach them how, if someone gets shot, how you stop them from bleeding, and then also to techniques to help you, I guess, disarm the shooter, or best ways for you to escape, and then ways for you, if you do get a hold of some type of firearm, what to do and how to execute it and save people in your surroundings as well.
Gotcha. Okay. I definitely like the bullet stopping the bleeding idea. The other ones kind of get a little dangerous, right? We have to like I'm gonna stop the attacker. Like, okay, that's a certain mindset, I think, but I think all knowledge is good knowledge, because you never know when you might need something. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I thought it was really interesting about how you mentioned about people dying from gunfire and stuff like that, and then people grief, and then it can go two different ways. Like, some people can use firearms on themselves, and people can use firearms on other people from the grief. And so I this would have made my mind think, and I was like, wow. So if we kind of can make a safe space for people to exhale and be able to breathe, and maybe they can help make prevention from like suicide and prevention from going out and trying to like retaliate or do anything like that. Right. When it comes to the firearm awareness, what are you guys talking about in that circle?
So with the firearm awareness workshop, the instructor is Marcus Hill. He has a security guard company called Palisade. And what we do is we teach you how to clean the gun, how to store the gun, how to load the gun, and definitely how to shoot the gun responsibly. Because I know a lot of people who have firearms that are terrified of their firearm, and that's not good. Because again, You know, you, if ever in a situation, if you have that to protect yourself, and that's the only way it's going to keep you alive, then you need to be very educated and very comfortable with utilizing the firearm, the weapon, to defend yourself. And I think also too, that's important because some people do die unintentionally from firearm because they don't know how to properly load the gun or
Yeah.
properly hold the gun, or they're so used to, or just for some reason programmed just to pull the trigger or to hold the trigger. And it's why, you know, a lot of people don't even know how to pick up a gun, you know, and
Yeah.
that's the truth. And you know, people don't know to use this and touch, you know, because we're so used to wanting just to do this, and that's dangerous. It's very dangerous. And again, I'm aware of that, and it's just more education that people need to have.
Yeah. The crazy part that you said is that I think you mentioned that you know people who have guns but are scared of them. So that's kind of
Defeating
very,
the purpose.
yeah. You scared of the thing that's supposed to help protect you.
Right. And because they don't they had the money to purchase it, but they just don't go to shooting range to get more comfortable and well versed with their weapon. So that's just the whole point, is just to teach people to be more well versed and comfortable with their weapon or with a weapon, because people kill people.
Yeah. Not dogs, not cats,
People.
people.
It's once you pull the trigger of the gun, and the gun needs you to pull the trigger. So people kill people.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah. That's it.
Wow.
That's all.
Are you pro gun or against guns?
I'm pro gun. I'm pro protecting yourself. I
Okay.
am. I'm pro. I don't ever want to need something and don't have it. You know, because I know it's America. You know, we're
Okay.
in America, and I'm not unfamiliar about America, and we should have the rights to bear arms, because there's a lot of idiots around here murdering a lot of needed people because they're not comfortable with guns and they're anti-gun. You know, it's a lot of pro-gun idiots.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's one of our amendment. It's a part of our amendment, right? One of our amendment
Right.
rights.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if it's the first or the second amendment.
I think it's a second, the right to bear arms.
Yeah, which is shout out to the founding father. That's one thing they got right. Doing that. And, I'm talking a little bit more about gun, right? So do you think, because I'm not sure if they do it right now, but do you think that they should still be that they should do like psychological tests on people, and maybe it should be done like yearly for people who want to bear arms and have like a right to bear arms?
Yeah, I do. I think there should be steps in order for people to purchase weaponry, because a lot of people aren't mentally stable to even handle weaponry. But I do know it's a strategy. You know, it's a strategy for us to just purge each other away. You know, because in Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, I follow a gentleman named Gary Chambers. I think he was running for Congress or senator for that state, and he was saying that the governor of that state just signed a bill that July the 4th in their state, an 18-year-old can purchase a gun without a background, without an ID, without waiting, nothing. All they have to do is be 18 and want a gun. So, and just imagine what type of war that's going to be creating and waging, what type of war is going to be waging within Louisiana because of that gun law.
I could be wrong, and this might just be my own prejudice, but I see where you're coming from. It seems like, well, in my opinion, a lot of people that are gun owners, or majority of people that are gun owners, seem to be pretty responsible people. It seems like, majority speaking, right? There's probably a lot more people that have guns that we don't know about that are responsible, good Americans. It's just those bad apples, right, that show up and ruin it for everybody.
Right.
But I wanted to get back into Offthechainalliance, right? So how do you guys look for sponsors and find sponsors to support? And then also, I think you kind of mentioned it, but how do you find people that you want to support? Because I think you also support people. Like I think I saw you do like donate some shoes to like a shoe drive, show up like at a fashion show. So they're two different questions, but they're kind of separated. How do you find people to support, and how do you find people to support you?
Okay, so how we find some people to support us is a lot of the board members are supportive. Me telling my story and being able to get in different platforms like this, and people hearing it and asking for the website and beginning to donate. And then I also do a lot of research. I also fill out a lot of grant requests, donation requests, sponsorship requests, and just see who will listen and want to do. And I definitely want to give a shout out to Altura Credit Union. It doesn't matter what I do. They sponsored last year. Fight gave us $500 for us to host our grief groups. This beautiful couple, and you actually interviewed them, Joshua and Leela Brown. They donated their event center to me so I could host my grief groups there. So I do have a lot of people that do beautiful things. If it's not monetarily, it's again like them giving me their space, or inviting me to places where people would like to hear my story and want to help. So yeah, that's how we go about getting sponsorships or help. I just go and tell a story and just fill out forms and requests. And sometimes people, will fulfill our requests, and then a lot of the times people won't. And then as far as how we find people, I'll see stuff on Facebook. Someone say someone passed away. I will inbox them directly and tell them, my condolences. It's okay if Offthechainalliance gives you an empathy basket. Do you need anything in addition? We also do grief counseling. I can give you up to $200 towards your funeral. If this is something that you are interested in, please give me a call. And for the most part, the people give me a call. And some people will inbox me and let me know a friend of theirs or somebody passed away. They need some assistance, and I let them know that's perfectly fine. I will help them, but I need the people who actually is going through the death, the loved ones. I need them to reach out to me, because there are a few questions, of course, that I can ask. I don't like to be too difficult to give people help. I don't like all the red tape that other nonprofits and peoples and hurdles and hoops and applications and stuff like that, because people are passed on, like they really need help, and they don't need nothing else to add more stress to them, because it's already stressful enough where they're at. So that's how we go about doing it that way. I just either reach out to the people when I see something, or people reach out to me and I'll respond, and I'll have the family reach back out to me so I can help them.
Gotcha. So what about things like, like the donating the shoes, which you guys did, or I think I saw you guys like at this outdoor event where like these girls were like doing like a fashion run. You guys were also at a Clippers game. So how do you guys decide to do things like that? How does those
With the Clippers game, her name is Ashlyn Dominguez. She's a community relations specialist for the Clippers. She reached out and to a numerous amount of nonprofits within the Inland Empire and asked us if we would like to attend a game, and she can give us free tickets and however many tickets we wanted. So I asked her for 50, and they gave me 50 tickets.
Woo.
And then once we have that, I just asked people like, hey, if you guys want to, we were donated these tickets, and if anybody wants to come out and attend, hey, I got tickets for you. Bring your family out. Let's have a good time together on Offthechainalliance. And then as far as the shoe drive, my treasurer on my board, that's one of his good friends. His name is Rambo, and he has a nonprofit, and I think it's called Souls for Souls or something like that. And they were having an event, and he wanted myself and Rambo to meet each other in person. And that's why it was just actually a meet and greet for me for another founder of another organization. And then just to be supportive, because I like when people come out and support Offthechainalliance. Yeah. And we just purchased a few pair of shoes, donated to his cause, and just another connection, another nonprofit in the future to collaborate with, because collaborations are key, and that's what keeps the momentum going and keep you showing up in rooms that you would normally be in, because of the connections and the networking and the meet and greets that you're attending. So, yeah. And then as far as fashion, on a side note, I model for Lou Productions. I'm a model. I'm a MILF vintage model.
Wait, say that again? Say it again for people to hear that.
I'm a MILF vintage model. So, I just like to just show my support to some of my girls who do their thing, and then just to keep the modeling side of me relevant. I do burlesque too. So all that is just to bring notice to me so I can bring notice to Off the Chain Alliance.
Got you, Will. Well, we can't just stop there. We got to talk a little bit about the modeling, right? We got to talk a little bit about the modeling. So, you said you're a MILF model, right? Which is the mom I like to, right?
Vintage, yep, a MILF vintage model.
MILF vintage model, and you also do burlesque modeling. Can you talk to us about how you got into this and how long you've been doing this modeling stuff?
Well, I just coined that right now as me being a MILF vintage model because my manager from Lou Productions, Lou Dowdy, asked me if we ready to get back into it, getting some photo shoots going. And I'm like, well, I'm 43 years old and I'm very proud of it. So, I wanna represent the 40-year-old women who still got it, that can still do their thing, model, whatever. So I just wanted to brand me much better than just a model because it's way more to me, and I'm very multidimensional. And then burlesque is my name is Blaze Star, and that's for Lou Productions. We began I think we did our very first one in 2021. We did 2 shows, and then we did one in 2022. We couldn't do a show last year because 2 of the ladies got pregnant, and then a couple other ladies dropped out. But yeah, it's an all ebony cast, and we're the Lubellas. And again, my name is Blaze Star.
Wow, and burlesque is like lingerie and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's just like the art of teasing. We're not provocative or anything like that, but we all are appealing in our own way. We're all different shades, shapes, and sizes. And we all bring our own little personality and twist and our appeal to the show. Yep.
Cool. Wow. And does like your daughter do any modeling or anything like that, or anything like that?
No, my daughter doesn't do any modeling. She's actually a mail carrier. Actually, let me take that back. She was, because my daughter is a thick madame. She's a cute BBW. So I believe maybe in 22, I believe she was doing a little modeling in LA for a photographer out there that like to showcase BBWs.
Gotcha. I want to go back. Thank you for sharing about the modeling story. Very interesting. But I want to go back to like things that Off the Chain Alliance does, because it seems to be a little bit bigger, just a little bit bigger than just like, or I guess just bigger with just dealing with grief, right? For example, you guys are deciding to do the first spring event honoring and showcasing Maurice Howard, correct?
Correct.
So why did you guys decide to do this? And yeah, talk to us. And why Maurice?
So I don't like the regular standard fundraisers, that people normally do. I just really like to think outside of the box, and I like to collaborate with people and fundraise with people that understand the ultimate goal is just to continue supporting, and for Off the Chain Alliance to have funding to keep helping the families with empathy baskets, donations toward their funerals, and being able to have the supplies and stuff needed for the grief groups. But Maurice is a really, really great friend of mine, and we do exceedingly well in business. Actually, when I was Miss February in Lou Productions calendar, I believe that was like 2019, I had him paint me. So I was just full of body paint. It was just red, black, and green, just to represent, Black History Month. And then I saw how well we worked together. Our collaboration was always on point. And whenever we do an event, a lot of people do turn out, and we are able and capable of raising enough money to fund the nonprofit and for him to have something in his pocket. So he's just a great business person to collaborate with. He's a great collaborator. And then he used to sit on the board for Off the Chain Alliance late, like in 18 and 19. So he's familiar with our mission and what we want to do, and he's watching us grow. And then again, I don't like to do the standard fundraisers. I like to do things differently. and I like to do things that are needed.
I love that. And of course, he does great work, and the event's going to be May 8th, correct?
May 18th.
May 18th, right?
Yes.
In Riverside.
Right. At Mind and Mill, downtown Riverside at Mind and Mill. And then my active shooter training and firearm awareness workshop. Active shooter is May the 3rd. The firearm awareness workshop is May the 4th.
Okay, so it's gonna be a nice day, a lot of nice things going on in May.
Correct.
Going off with a bang with the no pun intended, going off with a bang with Maurice Howard's event, which is going to be basically showcasing his artwork, correct, and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then for collectors, to come collect, you know what I mean? People, they say it's not good to say buy, but we do want people to collect prints, collect originals, because that funding, he will split half the proceeds, and that will go towards Offthechainalliance, which will be super great, like I say, because it'll just keep us being able to be stocked up with our inventory for our empathy baskets, and at least being able to give families some type of funding towards their funerals. And then also too, with like the grief groups, we need refreshments, we need snacks and stuff like that, and then all that stuff costs, and I just need to make sure we always have the funding that we need so we can do whatever our programs do.
Yeah, to have all the supplies, right?
Yeah, it's costly. It's not cheap at all.
Gotcha. It's interesting because people don't want to use the word buy, but I guess we can use the LGBT, I guess you could say, or you don't swing this way or you don't swing that way, so but you can't say bye. So it's so interesting.
You are hilarious for that one. B-U-Y.
Yeah.
Not B-I.
Gotcha. Hey, one of them buys. You can't say one of them, I guess. Portia, I want to thank you so much for being on the Empire. What are some of the current projects that you are working on, either inside of Offthechainalliance or outside of Offthechainalliance? What current projects are you working on?
Well, I just recently had a meeting with IEHP, and they want to be able to provide me volunteers to help, create the empathy baskets. And then they're also going to provide me their space if I want to host grief groups there. So I think that's super, super duper amazing. And then Riverside.
For people who may not know who IEHP is, can you please explain who IEHP is?
Well, IEHP stands for Inland Empire Health Care Plan, and it's just the government assistant healthcare plan for low income disenfranchised people who can't afford to pay for Blue Shield or Kaiser. And so they do a lot of community service work, community relations. And I was super happy to be introduced to one of their young ladies who collaborated with me and connected me to two of the supervisors, one from Riverside and then one from San Bernardino. And we had a really great talk. So, yeah. And then Riverside, San Bernardino, I think it's called Indian Health Inc. They actually donated $400 to us last year so we can have more supplies for empathy baskets. And there's a new gentleman now working in that department. He reached out to me. I told him, about Offthechainalliance, the story, because he just wanted to know. And he wants to collaborate with Offthechainalliance August the 30th, because August the 30th is National Grief Awareness Day. And we're going to collaborate. We're going to utilize IEHP's space, because I asked them. So we just, got to, go through the contracts and stuff. But they're going to let us use their space. He's going to collaborate with Offthechainalliance. And then we're going to do like a sound bath healing circle. And that's just, for everybody just to be able to just relax, sit in their minds. And just celebrate National Grief Awareness Day.
Wow, I think that's going to be a great event, especially the sound bath. I've been hearing really good things about the sound bath vibe. A lot of the things that trauma, it actually sticks to our bodies, sticks to our soul. And so we have to figure out ways to let it go. And I think things like sound bath will definitely help, and obviously the other programs that you have about just like having someone to talk to can really help bring healing and stuff like that. You know, Portia, we learned some pretty interesting things about you today, like, burlesque model and the work that you do. But what's something that most people, even close people, don't know about you?
That's a good question. I would essentially say that all in all, I really like to be with myself. I really enjoy my company to the fullest extent, and I would prefer to be amongst myself. But I don't know if that's something most people don't know. But honestly, yeah, I really enjoy myself, and I'm really proud of how far I've come and what I've accomplished, because I used to be really, really hard on myself. I'm probably like my biggest critic. But if I can say something, I'm extremely proud of Portia, her progress, her strength, her stride, her drive, and her ambition. Because at a point in time, she didn't know what she was going to do with herself. But again, I'm grateful that I do enjoy me, because for a very long time, I couldn't stand the sight of myself.
I got you. I got you. Okay. How about I'm gonna dig a little deeper. I kind of want to dig a little deeper. I want to dig a little deeper. You know, is there anything like specific, like, okay, I love eating oranges in the bathtub or something like that? Do you have anything super specific that some people may not know?
Super specific.
And it doesn't be big. It could be something small.
I love to collect clutch purses.
Okay.
I have a gazillion clutch purses. Some I haven't even worn yet.
Okay. You're addicted.
I am, and I'm not even addicted. I don't have favorites on that stuff, but I just love clutch purses for some odd reason.
Gotcha. And remember, you're not buying them. You're collecting them.
I am. I
Yeah.
have a whole collection of clutch purses.
Gotcha. Because we don't buy here. We collect.
We super collect. Okay, we
Yeah.
don't buy.
Gotcha. I was gonna say you should probably show us some of them, but it's probably a tower of them.
You are so funny.
Portia, I want to thank you so much for being on the Empire. Let's say 100 years pass by, 250 years pass by, half a millennia passes by. What would you like your empire to look like? Whether it's with Off the Chain Alliance, helping families, whether it's burlesque, whether it's anything in life, what would you like your empire to look like when people look back 500 years from now?
What would I like from my empire? Okay, I can't really answer that. But look, I want to just say this one quote that I just love. Maybe, hopefully, they understand. But it's retaliate by being great. So that's what I have. Retaliate by being great. Building is difficult. Um, Continuing on is difficult. Believing in yourself is difficult. So just through all the difficulties, I resisted and I retaliated by being great through it all.
Awesome. Retaliation. Vengeance.
Yeah, retaliate by being great.
Yeah, I love that. Vengeance. I heard something recently which was like the best way to get back at your haters is by doing well.
Right.
Right. Which kind of reminds me of the retaliate by being great. Portia, I want to thank you so much for being on the Empire. Can you please tell everybody how they can find you, reach you, support the cause? Can you please let everybody know how they can do those things?
Definitely. So if you would like to donate, you can go on our website, www.offthechainalliance.org. There is a donate now button that'll go directly to our account. And I want to thank all those who have been donating. We also have an Instagram at Off the Chain Alliance and a Facebook like page at Off the Chain Alliance. If you want to reach out to me directly, you can contact me. The phone number is 909-771-5973 or at offthechainalliance@gmail.com.
Awesome. And I'll also have all those things in the description, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have the Instagram in there. I'll have I was going to say YouTube channel. I'll also have the website in there so that way you guys can reach out to her and contact her. And, if you might know somebody else who might need some assistance, maybe it's not you directly, but somebody else, connect them so that way they can do that. You know what I mean? And so I want to thank Portia. I want to thank all you guys for staying and listening and watching, even if it's on the playback. We learned so much today about Portia. We learned about why she started it, which was an unfortunate thing about, coming to the conclusion of her brother passing, but then realizing that she had to turn her pain into purpose, which is the beautiful side of it, and wanting to help other families who may also be struggling through these things with Off the Chain. And she's been doing great work, things that we've learned about programs that they offer, like these gift baskets that help the grief where people can see. I really like her idea about the burial site that she wants for the natural burial. I think that's super going to be cool. We also learned that she's a model, burlesque model, doing her thing out here and everything. But again, I want to thank her. I want to thank all you guys for watching. If you guys want to contribute to the channel, the podcast, or the work, you guys can do our Cash App, which is $THEE Empire Podcast. We also have Venmo and PayPal, which is in the description. Please like the video if you haven't, share it, comment down below what you thought. My name is Antonio the Miles, the host. Again, I want to thank Miss Porscha Dillard for being on. I want to thank all of you guys. And other than that, we will catch you guys in the next episode. All right?
All right. Peace.
I said